Hey guys, welcome back to ClimaxCombo. We have another deck profile for you, brought to you by yours truly, Checkers. I'm going to be profiling this Project Sekai build with the gold bar and the choice. This build has been doing very well, and people have finally figured out what's strong about Project Sekai. One of the builds that's strong. Ooh, spoilers. All right, and to start things off, we have this 4 of this level 0 ID. One of the reasons why this deck is so unique because it runs a level 0 climax combo. So 1500 power. The climax combo is when you play the gold bar and you have 2 or more other music characters, you can look at up to the top 4 cards of your deck, add a music character from there to your hand. And her other effect is a spammable brainstorm. You can just pay 1, mill the top 4 cards of your deck, and for each climax revealed, you can search for a music character and then discard a card. So 4 of those, very important. Four of these level 0 Akito, 1500 power. If you have another music character on stage, he gets another 1500 power, making him 3k base pretty easily. And the other effect is if there is a character at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, if there's a character across from him, you can move him to one of your empty front row slots. So he kind of runs away, and he's oversized. So pretty good card for getting some advantage at level 0. We have 3 of these Nene, 2k. You can pay 1 and choose a music character in your waiting room and send it to the bottom of your clock. Then you can search for a level 1 character or lower and add it to your hand. Very good early card for plussing. 2k base, which kind of sucks. There's no other effect to go along with it, but it's a very good card, and you really need to make sure you're running these because you honestly need the yellow count for the deck. Honestly, it probably should be at 4, but don't have another one right now. 2 of these Vivid Bad Squad Miku, 1500 power. When one of your characters reverses an opponent's character, you can give one of your characters 500 power, and then a pay 1 rest brainstorm. For each climax you hit, it's mill 4. For each climax you hit, you can salvage a character. So, plus brainstorm is nice to have. Sometimes you just want, a little bit more hand early game, so that's why it's there. 2 of the level 0 ID from the TD, 2500 power. She's just a climax swap. Pay 1, discard a climax to salvage a climax from your waiting room. It's nice that she's 2500 power. She's really only here for the climax swapping though. 1 of these Rui from the TD. At the beginning of your climax phase, you can give one of your music characters plus 1k power, and you can rest 2 of your characters to give one of your characters the effect of when they reverse an opponent's character, you can get a blind stock. So just 1 of those. You can search it out with the Nene if you want to convert any, if you want to get some extra stock early on. That's all he's here for. He's not necessary though. All these other cards are pretty important. But that is it for level 0. For level 1, we have 4 of these Rin 1-0, 4500 power. The first effect is when she attacks, you can give one of your characters plus 500 power for every other music character on your stage. So if you have a full field, you can give something 2k power. And the other effect is when she attacks, you can give all your characters the effect of when they trigger a gold bar, you can draw 1, discard a card. So very good utility card, helps reverse things at level 1, which you are definitely going to need help doing because your level 1 is trash. So here's the other one, 3500 power, blue, Leonid Miku. You can play this card without meaning the color ruling, so you only need green at level 1, which is pretty cool. When she's played, you can discard a climax to salvage a music character to your hand. And the other effect is when, with battles involving her, if you cancel the damage that was dealt to you, then you can add her back to your hand. And that is pretty sick, actually. It helps keep your hand up later on. She's going to die anyway, so having the chance to get her back and then filter out your hand again is pretty neat. So this is all your level 1s, just 8 level 1s. Level 1 is definitely the weakest part of the deck, and you're kind of just holding on. So these are just here to make sure you can get through that without losing too much. Because once you get to level 2, you're back in a good spot because now you have access to these Nene. So 3, 2, 1 Nene. If you have 2 other music characters or more, she gets plus 5k power and plus 1 soul. So very easily making this card a 10k 2 soul 1 cost character, which is pretty valuable already. And the climax combo is with this choice. When she attacks, you can salvage a music character from your waiting room, and then she also gains the effect of if damage that this card deals to your opponent is canceled, then she gets 4k power until the end of your opponent's next turn, making her 14k on defense. And this card, this level 2 is pretty loaded, honestly. It's a very good card. 10k base is already great for starting to reverse all your opponent's lingering characters from level 1. Not easily reversed by any level 1s, and she can start to hang in there with some level 3s, especially if you get the cancel in with the combo. She's 14k on defense, and you do run some backups, so it's pretty good level 2. Next up, 2 of these Rin, 2/1, 4500 power. She's a level multiplier in front, and once per turn, you can rest her to send one of your characters to your stock. It's pretty good. The extra stock is very useful. You can you get to plus a lot early game. Even with having such weak cards, you can still plus a ton. So you can convert any leftover cards that you might have laying around on your stage to your stock. Any extra hand, you can just play your character for your on-play effect, send it to stock, and then play your Nenes or your level 3s. So it's a very useful card for converting any extra advantages to stock, so you have more resources to play with. One of these Miku backups, 2/1, 3k backup. Give your character, when it reverses an opponent, you can send that character to memory. So very good anti-encore backup. Very nice. 2 of these 2/3 money backups. You need to have a full field, and if you do, you choose one of your opponent's battling characters, and that character cannot deal damage for the turn, and it gives 1500 power when you use it. So this is a very good thing, a very good card to spend your stock resources on. You can help your Nana survive a bit. You can survive a bit more at level 2, which is where you're building your advantage to finish off the game. So yeah, 2 of those, because you will likely use it to stay alive. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 level 2s. For level 3, we have some early plays. 3 of these Mizuki, 8k power. If you have 4 more music characters on stage, she gets -1 level, or he gets -1 level in your hand. And if you have 2 or more music characters, then he gets 2500 power and hand encore. And the last effect is when he's played on stage, you can look at the top X cards of your deck, where X is the number of music characters you have on stage. So if you have a full stage when he's played, you can look at top 5. This card is super good. One of the best early plays you can have, honestly. Easy condition, hand encore to stay alive, very slightly oversized, and helps you it replaces itself and lets you grab a climax usually, or the 2/3 money event backup. Lets you grab any card. So this card is very good and very important because you you're in charge at level 2. The deck is really strong at level 2. Another early play is a 3/2 Saki, 8500 power. You can play her without meeting the color ruling, which isn't that relevant because you already need yellow. But if you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, then she gets -1 level in your hand. She gets 1k power for each of your back row music characters, making her 10/5, and she also has stock heal on play. Discard a card from hand to send the top card of your clock to your stock. Very good early play. It's nice if you want a heal. If you can, the timing's not super easy, but this deck does have a lot of milling, so you'll know if you're going to be able to play this card, and if you want the extra heal, it's there. So pretty cool. And now for the pretty much finishers of the deck. We have 3 of these Haruka from the TD. She 9k base. The turn she's played, you heal, and she gets 1500 power for the turn, making her 10/5 for just the turn she's played. And when she attacks, you can pay 1, discard a card to look at the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, and you can send any number of them to the waiting room, put the rest back on top. And yeah, so a very good finisher because doesn't rely on a climax combo. You get the top check, so it makes your damage that you deal a lot more likely. And yeah, so you just want to play 1 or 2 of these for that last turn. One of these Ichika from the TD, 3/2, 10/5 base. When you play her, you can choose a card in your hand that is equal to or lower than the level that you are and play it on stage for free, and then give it plus 2k power for the turn. So you essentially use that to play your Haruka. It reduces the amount of cost for your characters, and it makes them strong so you can reverse stuff. But her other effect is when she reverses an opponent's character, you can pay 3, discard a card to deal 2 damage to your opponent, and then this is at the end, after you reverse a character. And then you can look at the top card of your deck and either leave it there or put it to the waiting room. So combined with the Haruka, you do the Ichika first, you deal 2 damage, and then you get to top check and control the trigger for the Haruka. You can then check the top of their library or deck and hit exact numbers to get that final bit of damage in to kill them. And lastly, this 3/2 Night Court Miku, 10/5. What's with these 10/5 base cards? When you play her, you can rest 1 of your characters to essentially decompress your opponent. Your opponent chooses 1 climax in their waiting room and shuffles all other cards back to their deck. So yeah, it's just there for the decompression. When this is strongest when your opponent has already used up all their stock. Their deck might still be compressed, but now they kind of have a full waiting room that you can shove back into the deck. It makes your other finishers a lot more lethal. So that is it for the level 3. So a couple early plays and a couple cards to finish off. You don't want to be behind with this deck. It's very important to be ahead, and you do have good tools to close it out, but you're not going to be dealing too much extra damage at level 3. And the Climax lineup, 4 gold bar, 4 choice. Alright, so to start things off, probably your only option for really gaining a bit of advantage early game is the Akito. 3k and able to run away from things that might be able to reverse it is pretty cool. So it'll stick around. It lets you gain a bit of hand early. It's not super important to run away with the game starting in those first couple turns. If you want to just hold on to it to reverse things afterwards, it's fine as well because you do need another character. Going second is actually more beneficial for this deck. Ideally, you're trying to just play as many of these IDs as you can. Like by turn 2, I would say, you want to have 2 or 3 IDs to play, which you can look out for by trying to grab some with the Nene as well, because once you want to maximize on having IDs because you're going to be trying to gold bar every turn, whenever you can. So these IDs are really good. they give you so much milling. It's insane how much milling you can get. With 3 IDs, you get 4 mills, or 12 cards, and on top of that, it does have spammable brainstorm as well. So you pretty much can get to your first refresh crazy fast. You can compress. It's spammable brainstorm, so you're able to pay out any climaxes that you might accidentally trigger. So yeah, from here on out, the whole point is to recycle your hand. But you do want to hope that you level up after you are going to lose all your IDs. I mean, you can keep 2 in the back, so essentially you're always going to have 2 to brainstorm, but you do still want to have as many. Like, playing them in the front row is really good. And once you hit level 1, you are pretty much like any climaxes you get, you're going to be trading them out for more IDs or any other utility cards that you need to keep up the pressure. You want to make sure you're still doing the climax combos every turn, getting IDs and milling. Get to your refresh really fast. The Ren helps you reverse some things. Usually you need to pump another Ren because all your characters are pretty weak. Your Ren is the strongest thing at level 1. It's 4/5. This makes it 6k or 6/5 and then 7/5 with the climax, so it's possible, but that's all you're gonna get. At level 1, you're just trying to hold out, make sure you don't lose too much hand. You can keep comboing and milling to keep yourself in a good spot, good refresh, good compression, get some more cancels, get some damage on your opponent, because you always want to be ahead in the damage race with this build. So once you are level 2, you can kind of start to convert your extra hand, if you have any, to your stock with this Rin. Any IRAs that might have stuck around in the back row, you can kind of get rid of them now, because your goal is to kind of place Nenes. Usually you want 2 at least. 2 is very good. And then you're probably going to want to get a Mizuki out. The Mizuki is going to help. First of all, it's just a really good card, oversized body, and it has hand encore, so it'll stick around, ideally, and it can help you grab the choice to combo. The Nene helps keep your hand up with the climax combo. She's really strong, so she can go toe-to-toe with a lot of things, and she has 2 souls, so your damage starts to go up insane. So hopefully you've dealt enough damage so that your opponent isn't too compressed. Compared to your compression, I think you can out mill most people, most other decks, to have better compression. So you can start swinging with these 2 soul bodies as soon as you hit level 2, dealing 3 damage on each attack, which is great. But also means that you might cancel. If you trigger any soul icons, you're gonna hit for 4 damage. So if you know something like that, you can kind of plan around it. You can get an idea for what attacks your opponent might cancel. So you want to swing one after another. Then your Nenes are going to be 14k on defense, 15k with the level multiplier Rin. So this is another point where you're trying to push your advantage. You're really owning your opponent's level 2 board, because your level 2 game should definitely be better than theirs. There's not too many decks that I think can hang with stuff like this. And on defense, you do have options. You have the backups to protect your Nene, as well as your Mizuki. So yeah, it's pretty nifty. So yeah, your goal is to just kind of keep that up. You can salvage and prepare with the Nene for a turn or 2 to kind of get ready for level 3. You really only need like 3 level 3s. You don't need much hand. Once you're here, you ideally, if you have an open front board, you'll play the Ichika, Haruka, and Haruka, so that's only 4 stock. And you should have plenty of stock to pull off the Ichika and then 1 Haruka and another one if you're lucky, because all you do is you need to attack with this. You get the stock back. It's just one stock. So you're going to be using all your stock to finish them. Miku if you have to, if it's good. But yeah, you're really only your goal is to just have one turn at level 3 to kill them, because after this you're out. You're done. You're out of steam. There's no way you're gonna get these cards back. You just gotta hope they're dead. But it's pretty good to close out the game. Like this is a ping 2 with the attack, so the attack might cancel, or the ping 2 cancels, the attack hits. You look at the top trigger, make it 3, or make it a 1 soul maybe, so you can swing with this, check the top, get rid of any climaxes, and you're swinging for 3, and you already got rid of the climax, so you might be hitting for 3, so that's already like 5 damage guaranteed almost. It's like very solid way to deal 5 damage, and you have 1 more attack, stuff like that. The Harukas honestly enable you to play this deck because it's such a good off combo finisher. Being able to top check and get rid of climaxes is insane. And it works well if your opponent is not as compressed as you, because that's the whole idea with this build. Keep the soul rush up, keep your deck in a good spot for cancels, and just kind of roll with it. Go with your strong timings are at 0 and 2, so you're really trying to take advantage of that and beat other regular standard decks. So yeah. All right. That's going to do it for this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is a really fun and unique build, and I love Project Sekai. I've been playing the game since release, so it's really cool to see the set kind of thriving now that people have figured out how good the decks are. And this one's super fun. So yeah. Peace out, guys.